Hey guys, Harry Thomas here, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my updated ranking of the 31 Pixar movies over the past 3 decades now. Yes, the one of the three top animation studios, along with Disney and DreamWorks, with the iconic lamp for their logo. Yes, they have been making movies for as long as I have been alive, literally, and they completely changed the game for CGI and 3D animation. And one of the few CG animation studios that can make intelligent and thought-provoking animated masterpieces for all ages without pandering to modern audiences. And yeah, and it's one of the best studios that Disney has for sure. And I mean, and they just excel at CG animation so much you can't imagine them doing any other animation style. So without further ado, if you want to know my ranking of the 31 films, then just keep watching. Oh, and please respect my opinion, because this list will differ from the majority. At number 31, at the bottom of the list, Lightyear. Yeah, I wanted to like Lightyear. This could have been the coolest Buzz Lightyear spin-off movie. But to quote Hank from Detroit Become Human, they fucked up. I mean, Chris Evans ain't a patch on Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear. The film barely has any awesome sci-fi action. It's border the shit out of me, and that fucking Zurg twist. Oh, a absolute insult to the Toy Story franchise and lore. At number 30, Cars 2. Yes, this movie has been received as for years as the dud of Pixar, but Lightyear made Cars 2 look a lot better in comparison. But 15 years on, if you like this film's spy direction and, a James Bond movie just with cars, then good for you. But making Meta the lead character just does not work. And this film feels like it exists more to be a toy commercial to sell more Cars merch than to actually continue the story of Lightning McQueen in a meaningful way. At number 29, I am very sad to say the most recent Pixar movie, Toy Story 5. And yeah, I know this film was trying to get the relevant message across that, toys are for play, but tech is for everything. That's why tech is taking over from toys now. But even as a 30-year-old man, I'd still much rather play with my old toys and action figures than the tech that I have. See this as the in Indiana Jones 5 of the Toy Story series, like how most people are preferring this film to Toy Story 4, but I'd still give the edge to 4 because that film had more of a reason to exist, unlike this. This is the Toy Story film where you can tell Pixar and Disney are just scraping the bottom of the barrel. At number 28, Cars, the first one. That's Pixar's biggest toy seller, but yeah, I know this film has gained a cult following now, being 20 years old now. Blimey, makes me feel old, as I was just 11 when this film released. But and I admittedly did collect the Lightning McQueen merch, but yeah, on rewatch, yeah, the film does have a dull narrative about Lightning McQueen fixing a rose, and we don't get as many epic races with the Piston Cup as we should have, even though Doc Hudson is a terrific character, and it has one or two decent songs by Real Gone and Life is a Highway, but yeah, we spend way too long in Radiator Springs, so this film is one of Pixar's weakest paced movies. At number 27, Cars 3. Yes, I now think Cars 3 is my favourite of the Cars trilogy. Not that Cars needed to be a trilogy, but this one was at least a great improvement over Cars 2. And it's and I love that McQueen at this point he's aging and he can't race forever. So the film does maturely have McQueen pass the torch to Cruz, and yeah, she's probably my favorite Cars character in general. I mean, yes, Jackson Storm is another weak villain. He's just a Chick Hicks 2.0, but Cars 3 isn't as dark as that teaser trailer suggests, nor is it as ambitious. At number 26, Luca. Yes, I don't love Luca as much as everyone else. Yes, it's charming. Yes, it's got its heart, and yes, it's, you know, and its Italian setting is gorgeous. Good ideas about sea monsters are coming onto land and transforming into humans. I just wish the underwater world of the sea monsters had been expanded upon more, and I do wish the villain was much better, just a generic town bully. At number 25, The Good Dinosaur. Yeah, big mistake releasing this the same year as Inside Out. Of course it was going to be overshadowed. This should have been The Great Dinosaur, and it kind of wasn't. I mean, Arlo and Spot do go on a visually breathtaking adventure, and the alternative universe where dinosaurs never went extinct and coexisted with humans. I mean, that's an awesome concept. I just wish the film wasn't The Lion King just with dinosaurs and had more originality. Disney's Dinosaur, did a dinosaur family movie so much better. At number 24, Wall-E. Yes, you're gonna strongly disagree, but I've always thought Wall-E to be Pixar's most overrated. Even if there is a lot to like, I mean, that first half has some incredible visual storytelling without a lot of dialogue, and it does make you really care about, robots. And who would have thought Wall-E and Eve could make such a cute couple? But that second half is so much weaker and gets absurd on the axiom, with humans becoming fat and just what? But the animation will totally blow you away. At number 23, Up. Yes, my rating for Up has declined a little now. I mean, this is still has a wonderful message about life itself being an adventure. It's just, to me, this is Pete Docter's weakest film that he's made at Pixar. Lots of emotion with highly lovable characters. Kevin, the chocoholic bird, and Doug, the talking dog. But Charles Mudd's, while he's disturbing, he is not one of Pixar's better villains. And at number 22, Toy Story 4. Yes, I enjoy Toy Story 4 way more than I thought I would back in 2019. It was a satisfying wrap-up to Woody and Bo Peep's character, and Gabby being one of the most sympathetic Toy Story characters, period. But Toy Story 5 is the point where you go, it's time to put the toys away. I'll give Pixar this. With this one, that they surprise me. At number 21, Finding Dory. Yes, it's been 10 years since this movie. Plus, Finding Dory is probably the first Pixar movie I reviewed on this channel. It's more light-hearted in comparison to Finding Nemo, but Dory getting a sequel and being the lead of the sequel was the right choice, because she is the best Finding Nemo character. Even if Marlin and Nemo didn't serve much purpose here, but if we get a Finding Nemo 3, please bring Coral back and Nemo's brothers and sisters. At number 20, Elio. Super underrated gem from Pixar. Had it released in a less overcrowded summer, it would have likely done better financially. But this takes us on on a deep character study and a wild space adventure, way better than Lightyear ever is. And the aunt and nephew bond between Elio and Olga are heartwarming. At number 19, Soul. Well, I do think people are slightly overhype this one, and I now do favour Onward of the two we got in 2020. But Soul, being the most recent of the Pete Docter Pixar films, is a superb one, and really extremely deep and mature about how we should cherish little moments in life and not just base life on dreams. At number 18, Finding Nemo, one of Pixar's absolute most beloved classics, and Yeah, and clearly the most well-known movie about fish ever made. Pixar revolutionized underwater effects in animation with this film, and I mean, and the adventure Marlin Dory go to rescue Nemo, one of the most thrilling and epic in any animated film in general. This was also Andrew Stanton's film debut, and it's a good life lesson on how when you're a parent you should not be so paranoid and sometimes trust your kids to take the lead. At number 17, Coco. I mean, this may be the greatest movie about Mexico ever made, and it's it's put Cars 3 the same year to absolute shame. I mean, sucks my country in the UK had to wait until January 2018 to check. But Pixar did a stunning job at making the world of dead extremely colourful and vibrant, and yeah, Dela Cruz being one of the most unexpected Pixar twist villains, and that Remember Me song. I mean, yeah, that will certainly bring a tear to your eye or two. We will certainly remember this movie. At number 16 are Hoppers. Yes, I know some people think this film's overrated, but I pay no attention to them. I absolutely love Hoppers. As a naturist, like Mabel, I rooted for her 100% to protect the glade, and it made me want to be a beaver for a day. And of course, this film was going to parody Avatar because Avatar and Pixar are both Disney, but this is leagues better than Toy Story 5. At number 15, The Incredibles, and yep, it's every bit as incredible as the title suggests. Brad Bird proved with this film that we can get great animated superhero movies as well as live action ones. In fact, the Incredibles movies are better than a lot of live action superhero movies, and Michael Giacchino's score for this one of his GOAT scores. At number 14, Onward. How does nobody talk about this movie anymore? I mean, this Onward is grossly underrated, and yeah, I mean, yes, 2020 was a shitty year, but at least we got two, outstanding original films from Pixar that year to help us keep our hopes alive, and yeah, and Onward, it's not only modernizes fantasy so excellently, kind of like how Shrek modernized fairy tales, but also tells us such a compelling story about two elf brothers who are who want to just spend one day with their deceased father, but and I'm glad that's the women get just as much to do with their mother, and the manticore going on a journey of their own. Yeah, Onward. It's actually, I think it's one of the most underrated and greatest fantasy films of the 2020s in general. At number 13, Elemental, and this film has all the elements of a wonderful Pixar masterpiece, and I'm so happy that Peter Son upped his game with this one. I mean, fire and water make for such a cute couple in Ember and Wade, and I love how this film's message, honesty is the best policy. At number 12, Inside Out. I mean, absolutely incredible return for Pete Docter, and yeah, it really makes you think what is going on inside everybody's head. Do our emotions go on an adventure like joy and sadness do on a daily basis? With each emotional struggle that we go through when we are growing up, like Riley does, and I mean, yeah, but it's so sad that Bing Bong had to die because yeah, because he really does cheer you up in this emotional roller coaster of a movie. But this film's message is absolutely right. It's okay to be sad, and it's not physically possible to be happy all the time in life. And also that triple net gun commercial. I mean, good luck trying to get that out of your head. Number 11, Inside Out 2. OMG, this sequel rocks, and it's really tested Riley even more than the first one did with an older Riley. And Riley's panic attack still is emotionally distressing to watch, and and anxiety, one of the cleverest written characters for a Pixar film. At number 10, Monsters University. Yes, not many people would put Monsters U in the top 10, but I think this is a severely underrated prequel. And yes, maybe I would have rathered a direct sequel to Monsters Inc., which we've still yet to get, but I'm still happy we got this prequel, and I also loved the Monsters at Work series on Disney Plus. But Monsters, you are really it's a really it had the balls to hit us hard in the third act by brilliantly executing the film's message of you may not be naturally talented to do what you wanted, but you have other talents. And the Monsters University campus itself, one of the all-time great cinematic colleges. And Helen Mirren's Dean Hardscrabble are the top 5 Monsters Inc. characters for me. And the film is surprisingly longer than the first Monsters Inc., but it used that extra time incredibly well, and especially in the last half an hour. And it's and if you're an Uzma Kappa, then that's okay. Number 9, Hot to Take a Butter, Incredibles 2. Yes, a lot of people would put this below the first Incredibles, but this was the Pixar sequel we had to wait the longest for, a record-breaking 14 years. But this sequel didn't just deliver; it double delivers. Brad Burrs really, he followed up the cliffhanger with the Underminer so epically, and I think the Screenslaver deserves more credit as a villain. He certainly creeped me out more than Syndrome did, particularly how Screenslaver was able to mind control all supers to do their bidding. And Jack's fight with the raccoon, that may be the best scene in the entire Incredibles duology. Not to mention the animations, leaps and bounds better than the animation of the first film. Hopefully Incredibles 3 can tell Violet Dash and Jack's story, as this film was the perfect film for Helen to be the lead. At number 8, A Bug's Life. I mean, John Lasseter never missed back when he was CEO of Pixar, and this is a vastly underrated follow-up to Toy Story. Twice the budget, twice the scope of the original Toy Story, and with one of the darkest and most awesome third acts Pixar has ever done. And speaking of Hopper, one of Pixar's all-time, and in fact Hopper is my favourite Pixar villain, full stop. At number 7, Brave. Yes, I still rank Brave way higher than the majority. One of Pixar's most underrated and way too overhated movies, and it's better than Wreck-It Ralph, and deserved the Oscar over Wreck-It Ralph. And I'm not going to apologise for thinking that, because what is not to love about Brave? It's an incredibly brave movie. I mean, particularly with how it's Pixar's first film with a female lead, and finally a Disney princess with no prince or love interest, but a mother and daughter story instead, which we need more of in movies, and more do being one of Pixar's most horrifying antagonists, and the lore and the backstory with him and his brothers incredibly interesting. Uh, well, and this film will also make you want to take a trip to Scotland. I'm glad they didn't cast American actors but kept the entire cast Scottish. And that bear fight in the one of Pixar's most brilliant and edge of your seat climaxes. At number 6, Ratatouille. I mean, this film deserves a golden 5-star rating as much as Gusto's restaurant. This balances flawlessly being one of Pixar's most mature and funniest films at the same time. And Anton Ego's speech deserves uh, the biggest round of applause, and this is my favourite Brad Bird film that he has ever directed. I'm not kidding. At number 4, Toy Story 3, the last perfect and last great Toy Story movie. It clearly should have been the ending, but of course Hollywood doesn't do endings anymore, and but yeah, my goodness, this is the second greatest conclusion to an animated trilogy, behind only How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Hidden World. For me, I mean, yeah, that this entire movie is a weeper. I mean, Lotso, one of the greatest animated villains, with his excellent backstory, and I mean, this film is a thrilling and dark prison break from Sunnyside Daycare, and I mean, and Pixar really went as far as almost killing off all our characters in the finale at the furnace, and Andy handing the toys over to Bonnie. I mean, just I couldn't think of a better conclusion to this trilogy, and all of Andy's toys are involved in the narrative. Oh, and but Barbie and was at her best here, particularly her scenes with Ken. At number 5, this movie sure has a friend in me and will forever be cherished to infinity and belong by generations of film fans to come. It is the founder of Pixar and CG animation itself. Released the year I was born, and I mean, and the reason Pixar nailed the first CG animated film was because they put story and characters before technology. This film will hopefully make you appreciate your toys way more before you just chuck them away when you grow up, and make you wonder, yeah, are toys really alive when we're not looking? At number 3, Toy Story 2. Yes, this is for me the unbeatable Toy Story movie, and I doubt any Pixar sequel or Toy Story movie that comes after this will ever dethrone this. I mean, this was my introduction to Toy Story on VHS, and I've since loved it with every fibre in my being. I mean, when she loved me, do I even need to say how emotionally powerful that scene is? Number 2, I've never met no Pixar movie like you. Turning Red. I know I initially called this my favourite Pixar movie, topping even Monsters Inc., but now, yeah, I've kind of gone back to my original opinion, but Turning Red, I still adore with all my heart. It's Pixar's most underrated and stupid decision by Disney to not release this absolute gem in cinemas, and this may be Pixar's most bizarre concept, so that works brilliantly. I mean, a young girl with the ability to transform into a huge red panda, and but yet they executed it to perfection, especially the beautiful mother and daughter story between May and her mother Ming. This is, yeah, Pixar just they always nail mother and daughter stories, and this is also Pixar's first film to be to take place in Canada, and the Four Town songs make for some of the most timeless songs in any Pixar film. I'll put Monsters Inc. back to #1, or so help me. Now, Mike, no need to panic. Monsters Inc. is back as my all-time favourite Pixar movie. I mean, what a film! Monsters Inc. is not only, the best possible directorial debut for the current CEO of Pixar, Pete Docter. Not only still his best movie, never been topped since, but it's one of my favorite movies of all freaking time. I mean, yeah, I have more nostalgia for this film than most, and I even had a birthday party where I had a Sully costume that my mum brilliantly organised for me. I mean, if I didn't have You Still the GOAT Pixar song, well deserved that Academy Award, and that door climax is still Pixar's most epic, unbeatable finale, and Sully and Boo's Bombed, the most beautiful bomb that Pixar have ever done. I'm proud to call Monsters Inc. The peak of Pixar. Happy 25th anniversary to this freaking masterpiece and a landmark of cinema. So that's my updated ranking of the 31 Pixar films, and I will do an updated ranking for the DreamWorks films, as that ranking is 7 years overdue, and I will do that after Forgotten Island this October, which I cannot wait for. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this ranking. What's your ranking of all 31 Pixar movies, or at least the ones you've seen? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and on Instagram. And I'll see you all next time. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.